Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Silence of the Lambs was released on Valentine's Day of 1991. The movie was scheduled for release in the middle of February because Orion Pictures, its distributor, already had a can't-miss hit with Dances with Wolves, and they wanted to give Kevin Costner as little competition as was possible for the 1991 awards season. The strategy paid off, as Dances with Wolves won 7 Oscars. But 1 year later, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences didn't and couldn't forget about Hannibal Lecter and Clarice Starling. The film is a psychological horror thriller film that was directed by Jonathan Demme and written by Ted Talley. It was adapted from Thomas Harris's 1988 novel that bore the same name. The film stars Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee who is hunting a serial killer named Buffalo Bill, who skins his female victims. To catch him, she seeks the advice of an imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, who is a brilliant psychiatrist and a cannibalistic serial killer. The picture is the third film to ever win all the Big Five Oscars: Best Picture, Actor, Actress, Director, and Screenplay. The other two were It Happened One Night from 1935 and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from 1976. And believe it or not, Gene Siskel gave this movie a thumbs down. I disagree with almost everything this guy ever says about a film. He stated that he didn't understand what all the fuss was about, dismissing the movie as a star-studded freak show, and he wrote that it was a case of much ado about nothing. The Oscars and his partner Roger Ebert completely disagreed. Gene Hackman was originally set to direct and star in the film. Hackman and Orion Pictures split the $500,000 that was needed to purchase the movie rights to the book, but Hackman ended up dropping out days after he watched clips of himself at the 1989 Oscars as FBI agent Anderson in Alan Parker's Mississippi Burning. He decided that he didn't want to follow it up with a dark role with an even more unlikable character. Michelle Pfeiffer was the first choice to play Clarice Starling. Jodie Foster initially wanted to buy the rights to Thomas's book herself, but Hackman beat her to it. She then settled for fighting for the role of FBI agent Clarice Starling. The director wanted Michelle Pfeiffer, but like a lot of the other actors, she was really concerned about the darkness of this piece. The film's director didn't like Foster's Boston accent in her movie, The Accused, even though it won her an Oscar. But after he met with this determined actress twice, he eventually changed his mind. Foster was also concerned that the film was going to make the FBI look stupid. The director Demme directed the 1988 comedy Married to the Mob that starred Michelle Pfeiffer, which didn't portray the FBI in the smartest light. After the agency impressed Foster with their handling of death threats against her, they had earned her respect, enough that she approached the director before filming to make sure that the FBI would be portrayed in the correct way. Sean Connery was the first choice to play Hannibal Lecter. Connery read the script and found it revolting and passed on the project, as did quite a few other fairly famous actors. Hopkins took this role to another level. He used our fear of doctors and dentists to ramp up the scares in the project. It was his idea for Lecter to wear all white. His theory was that people already had a fear of doctors and dentists who constantly wear white while they're on their job, and this same feeling would translate to this character. Buffalo Bill's famous house in the film was the home of a high school physics teacher. Brentworth High School teacher Harold Lloyd let his own home double as Buffalo Bill's abode. But things didn't go too well with his relationship with the crew. He claimed that the crew members were rude, that they stole items from his property, and a security guard was fired for running tours through the house at night. In October of 2020, the property hit the market for just under $300,000. At about 17 minutes into the film, Jodie Foster claims that during that first meeting between Hannibal Lecter and her character, Anthony Hopkins, mocking of her Southern accent was improvised on the spot at the time that scene was shot. Her horrified reaction was genuine since she felt personally attacked by it. She later went on to thank Hopkins for generating such an honest reaction. Now, one of the most disturbing scenes in the film is where Buffalo Bill tortures his hostage, Catherine Martin, played by Brooke Smith, by placing her in a dungeon-like basement in his suburban home. Though she is only in a handful of scenes, each one of them is extremely upsetting, in large part due to her extreme commitment to making this scene look real. She was asked at one time what kind of prep work she did for this scene, and she stated that she had a storage room in their basement, and she remembered going in it and closing the door, and instantly feeling like this is pretty tough to handle. She started thinking about the weird things that your mind would wander to if you were in that situation. She thought about, what would I do if I was having my period when the serial killer got me? And what if I had contact lenses and they dried out and I couldn't see very well? She thought of those kind of things, which ended up making her have bad dreams before they ever shot her scenes. But while she was down in this pit during the filming, it really messed with her mind. She had to get down into this pit and cover herself with dirt. She couldn't drink much water at all because she couldn't go pee. She said her senses were completely charged while down there, and that she remembered sitting there in between setups and feeling like, why are you people not helping me? Why are you exploiting me? And eventually, she actually started turning on the crew. Once she would get out of the pit, things would somewhat go back to normal. But filming these scenes has stuck with her, and she's always remembered how it felt down in that hole. Take a look back at this fascinating film. It's a shocker. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.